So admittedly, up until this point in time, I have not been very familiar with the Yakuza franchise as a whole, but knowing that Yakuza 0 Director's Cut was one of the big launch games for Nintendo Switch 2, and seeing all the hype and discourse around it, plus hearing that it is the must-play title to actually get into the franchise and start at the beginning if you want to dive into this storied franchise with multiple installments, well, it was a no-brainer for me when Sega and RGG Studios approached me for a sponsored look at this game, and all of these thoughts are my own, and fortunately, after playing for a length of time, I'm going to see this game through to completion because, yeah, it does have me hooked. So in this video, I want to break down and review Yakuza 0 Director's Cut, which is out now on Nintendo Switch 2, and give my overall thoughts and impressions on the gameplay, the story, the overall performance of the game on Nintendo Switch 2, talk about some of the new content that's been added in, as well as additional story elements, and hopefully help you come to the conclusion if this might be a good buy for you right now on your Nintendo Switch 2 collection, considering that this was one of the big marquee third-party launch titles. So we're going to unpack all of this info, but before we do, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on your bell notification to join Sunbro Nation if you're new here. And I want to first kick this off by talking about the story elements of this game, because I will tell you that it is a story-heavy game. However, it does a really cool job setting an authentic 1988 era Japan with shady club managers, loan sharks, and just action-packed crime and drama with some very high highs and low lows that you'll really want to experience firsthand. And I'm not going to show any spoilers. We're going to be looking at very early portions of the story and gameplay for this game because, yes, it does get deep as you go on, and you play as two protagonists, Kazuma Kiryu, an up-and-coming Yakuza in Tokyo, and Goro Mijama, a disgraced gangster managing a cabaret club in Osaka. And when I say the setting feels authentic and adds to the story, it really does, because cutscene or not, it looks absolutely beautiful. 1988 Japan and Tokyo and Osaka entertainment districts have been flawlessly recreated with a lot of attention to detail. Neon lights everywhere, a busy city that's clearly action-packed everywhere, and for more reason than maybe what you think. We'll break down the combat in a moment, but it feels alive and like a very cool throwback era in Japan. And to unpack the combat, because this is a lot of what I really have started to get that hook set in within the game. Okay, first of all, we have to talk about just how over the top and completely fun the combat system is. So first of all, you have a few different fighting styles you can switch between seamlessly mid-combat, like Brawler, Rush, and Beast. And listen, I found myself spending the majority of the time in Rush. Now, there are skill trees for each of these different classes, but I really preferred the quick action in and out. You can dodge moves very quick and seamlessly. You can get right back into combat very seamlessly, and the hits have impact behind them. So when you are chaining together a good multi-hit combo and finishing it up with a heavy strike that definitely connects and knocks out your enemy, and you immediately see the cash fly out of them, which you want to continue to level up your character and buy items and everything else in the game, yeah, that hooks you in pretty quick. And if you want to play on the higher difficulty settings in this game, I will tell you, you will need to learn and adapt these combat systems and switch between them on the fly, because strategy does definitely become necessary as you're playing harder difficulties. Yet I found myself really enjoying the progress and progression and overall feel of normal mode, so that's what I stuck to. But I did like just how seamless it is to switch between different combat styles. And Goro styles, you actually get additional ones beside Kazuma's, where it's Thug, Slugger, and Breaker for him. Basically, just understand that the combat system has depth and it's complex, but it's also very easy to understand and satisfying when you start putting together certain chain combos, and it's over the top and silly at the same time. Like grabbing a bicycle and slamming it straight into somebody's head to take them out is completely an option. Slamming somebody's head into the wall when you're doing your heavy hit just right, you can grab somebody and then do a heavy hit, and that's going to be a different style of move. Like, there's a lot of versatility in this combat system, and it's really the highlight of the game overall for me, in addition to the story. But those combat environments, when you have multiple enemies on screen that you're trying to kind of figure out how's this going to go down, and you string together a good combo and finish it off with some crazy finishers called heat actions. Yeah, it's pretty cool when you just break your enemy in half from the impact. There's a ton of side content in this game as well, so if you feel like taking a break from progressing the main story and all of the detailed cutscenes that unfold, and you want to focus on some more side mission content, that's totally up to you at any point in time. Some of it's just fun and silly karaoke that's legitimately like a Guitar Hero style rhythm game. It's what it reminded me of when I was trying to hit the buttons fast enough. I did not really develop the level of skill I needed to for that, but that, disco dancing, bowling, arcades, real estate, cabaret management, and a lot more. There's legitimately so much side content in this game that you could easily put in 30 hours without even touching the main quest, and you'd still be entertained. Now, the director's cut is really cool because it actually adds in a lot of features and functionality to this game. So even if you are somebody who's played the original, you may want to go dive into this for things like the director's cut, including over 25 minutes of added cutscenes to give a lot more context and some depth to the story and narrative overall. It is English dubbed for the first time ever, and they're on point because that's what I was listening to. I prefer English dub and top-notch voice acting in this game, let me tell you. What I really want to drive home, and this is one of the fun areas that I spent a lot more time than I realized. Yeah, there is a full-on multiplayer mode called Red Light Raid, and this is actually dangerously addicting because I was trying to stop playing for a while, but I wanted to check out this mode, and sure enough, I blinked and I went through the entire first round of challenges. And I spent quite a bit of time doing that, and there are 6 different challenge missions, 6 different locations, and 60 playable characters for you to unlock in this mode. So essentially, this is a new online co-op multiplayer mode where you can either play alone with 3 CPU allies or team up with 3 friends to take down mobs of increasingly powerful enemies with players around the world. It starts off pretty straightforward and with a manageable amount of enemies on screen, but let me tell you, as time progresses and the challenges unfold, they start to get pretty overwhelming pretty quick. There are mini bosses, main bosses, and just downright a ridiculous amount of people all on screen at certain points. But like I said, this was a mode that I didn't necessarily think would hold my attention as good as it did, and it's now one of the highlights of the game outside of the single player stuff, which you can play the single player you yourself or with CPUs, but definitely check it out online with friends or co-op as well. Just even playing with CPUs was super fun and enjoyable, and the amount of content that's there in this new mode is actually something else that's impressive. I am happy to say that from a performance perspective, this game does indeed live up to the standard of 60 frames per second, whether you're handheld or docked, and 4K while docked. They also included updated textures and higher resolution across the board. So listen, for me personally, if you are somebody who enjoys action-adventure games with beat-em-up and RPG elements, I think this is a no-brainer pickup early into the life cycle of the Nintendo Switch 2, and I think that there's a lot here for the price point that Sega is asking for this game, and really a surprising amount of new content in the Director's Cut edition. And whether you're a veteran of the franchise and you want to just check out that new content, or if you're somebody like I am that's getting into the series for the first time, it's the perfect starting place, and I would definitely check it out. So click the link in the description and pinned comment down below and check out Yakuza 0 Director's Cut, one of the best third-party Nintendo Switch 2 launch games, and let me know your take on this great new Switch 2 game that's available now. So big thank you to Sega and RGG Studios once again for sponsoring this video. Make sure you share all your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below before you leave, regardless if we agree or disagree. Also make sure you like, subscribe, turn your notification bell, and with that, I've been Sunbro, you've been Nation. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.